Writing expressions, equations, inequalities. So let's take a look at our first two problems. So what we're going to be doing in this lesson is we're going to be taking a word problem and identifying how to write our variables and our numbers from the problem. So Belvedere threw a football for more than 3 times the number of yards. So we look at for more than being addition. So we're taking a look at for more than 3 times a number, and the number is y. So we would have to see 3 times y. So if I'm looking at the problems here, I'm looking for something that has 3 times y. Well, there's 2 of them that have 3 times y. So that I can eliminate the 4 times y's, as they won't be choices. And then I'm looking at for more than being addition. So we wouldn't use subtraction. We would have 3y plus 4. In the next problem, Rapunzel's buying one item that costs D dollars. She gives the cashier $81. Which expression represents the change she would receive? Well, normally if you give the cashier $81 and we want to find the change, 81 would be more than the items you cost. If the items cost D, we would be doing 81 minus D to find our change. We wouldn't do D minus 81 because that would be a negative number. Emelina buys 6 items that cost D dollars each. So she's buying 6 that cost D dollars. She gives the cashier $53. Which expression represents the amount of change she would receive? So if we have $53 that she gave the cashier, she's going to be subtracting, well, 6 items at D dollars each would be 6 times D to see how much she spent, and that would give you the change. So 53 minus 6D. Jim has 6 jars of marbles that contain X marbles. So 6 jars for X marbles. So that's 6X. And 7 jars that contain Y marbles. So that'd be 7Y. We want to know the total number of marbles. So we would add that together. So that would be 6X plus 7Y. A video game store rents games for $3.25 for the first day. Then there's a $2.50 charge for each additional day D. Well, that right there is going to give us a $2.50 times each additional day. So as I look through here, there's 2 that I can get rid of because they don't have $2.50D. Now these 2 do, but we're adding $3.25 plus $2.50 per day. So this would be the choice. It wouldn't make sense for the store to subtract or give you a discount. That wouldn't make sense. So $3.25 plus $2.50D would be the cost for the video game. Tran has a certain number of necklaces, and the number of necklaces Dorothy has is 4 times as many as Tran. So that would be multiplication. So that would be 4n. Write the following as an algebraic equation. Use x as the unknown and use a sum. So this would be 9.7 plus a number, well, that would be the x, the one we don't know, is equal to 165.3. Sheila has $59.99. If Sheila buys a new hat for $18.62, which equation correctly represents how much money X Sheila has after buying the new hat? Well, the total amount of money she has is $59.99. So if you take what the item cost plus X, how much money she has left, and add them together, that would be the total. And if you would subtract, you would find that she would have $41.37 left. So we would use this bottom choice here. Gary wants the width of his pool to be no more than 9 feet. So immediately we know less than or equal to 9 is what we want to use. So it's either going to be this one or this one because of the less than or equal to. So we'll get rid of this and we'll get rid of this. He wants the length to be 6 feet less than the width. Which inequality could Gary use to find h, the length of the pool? Well, if he wants the length to be 6 less, what I'll do is I'll set up the length plus 6 has to be less than or equal to 9. And if you would subtract 6, you would find how big the length could be. So I will go with this choice. Hannah works at a department store. She receives 40% discount on merchandise. If Hannah does not want to spend more than $25, so we have to be less than or equal to 25 in this case, so it can't be greater than or equal to 25, so those choices are out. Now, we're not doing 40% of and then subtracting. It has to happen all at once. Well, if you pay for something that's 100% and you're getting a 40% discount, you would only be paying 60% of that item. So we would go with 0.6 times the original price. That would give me how much I'm paying the 60%. It has to be less than or equal to 25 because we can't spend more than $25. In our next problem, we're taking a look at buying tacos or Taco Tuesday. And they only have $28 to spend on dinner. I start with that. Less than or equal to $28. Okay, can't go over, but you could use it. Equal. Okay. Each taco costs 60 cents. So 60 cents times Y would tell you how much they're paying for tacos. And that would be the inequality we would use for this situation. Which inequality represents the phrase 40 is greater than? Well, I look through and I'm trying to find 40 being greater than. No, the only one I see is this one. 40 greater than a number U decreased by 15, and that would work. A popular social media app is going to try and start charging users. They are going to charge 30 cents per post and $36 monthly fee. So, 30 cents per post, we're going to have to look for it being 30 cents times P. So this one doesn't have that, so that's out. And this one doesn't have 30 cents times P. It's either one of these. The total is the same. So if she budgeted $56.40, those are both have that for total. But we're looking at they're charging 30 cents per post and a monthly fee of 36, so it has to be addition. So it'd be this choice with the addition. Gary has a painting that is currently worth $21,000. Each year the painting will depreciate. Depreciate means it loses value. So that's subtraction by 300 per year. So we have this choice up here doesn't have 300 per year because there's no variable next to it, so we'll get rid of that one. Now we look at these all have 300B, but only one of them is, or two of them are subtraction, so this one's out. Now it has to depreciate from the original value, so 21,000 minus 300B is where we want to go with. We got to start from that original.